Hi, I'm Dave from Central Belfast Apartments. We offer the best serviced accommodation in Belfast city centre, and this video is about 10 things I wish I knew before I started in Airbnb or serviced accommodation. So the first thing is, it's not all about Airbnb. So Airbnb is the common phrase for serviced accommodation, and it's certainly one of the biggest booking sites that you can book through, but there are a whole host of others that you can list your property on. Booking.com, Expedia, Hotels.com, TripAdvisor, there are loads and loads more, and it's also really important to have your own website as well. So Booking.com is by far the biggest player for us. It's an absolute juggernaut of marketing. You could cancel a booking on Booking.com and within a few hours the same dates have been rebooked again. It's just unbelievable how they generate so many bookings for us. So common sense is not that common. So you might think it's dead straightforward how to open your balcony door or your front door or your key safe. You might think it's really simple how to turn the bathroom light on or how to turn your oven on. It's simple to you because they're your things, it's your property. But for a foreign guest coming perhaps from a different culture where they don't have things exactly the same as ours, it really isn't that simple for them. So it's really important to have detailed instructions on how to operate all appliances, as much information as you can give guests, just to make things as straightforward for them as possible. Because if you don't provide that, you're just going to be absolutely tortured with emails and phone calls. Toilet rolls. You'll become obsessed with them. You want to know how many to leave per bathroom. Do you leave them a certain amount per guest? If a toilet roll has been used but is more than half full, do you take it away or do you leave it there? You'll become obsessed with this. Also, there are some guests who steal the toilet rolls when they arrive. So during the first lockdown, we were having a bit of a crisis over toilet rolls. We were going to the wholesalers and there was none there, so we were having a real panic on. Yeah, toilet rolls are very important. So the next thing to expect is delays. Now if you meet and greet your guests, which I recommend that you do, you'll have to wait there for them to arrive. So you could ask them in advance, or you should ask in advance, what time are you planning to arrive? And often you'll get a response like, we'll be there at 2. Now from that you have to deduce whether they're flying in or getting a ferry or they're deciding to drive, what time they're leaving the house at, whether they'll have any stops along the way, is it even 2 p.m. or is it 2 a.m. Every single time, almost without fail, if you're meeting and greeting guests, they will just not turn up whenever they say they will. And to some degree, you have to expect a bit of flexibility. People are on their holidays. It can be really, really frustrating. So you'd be pretty surprised with how dirty a flat can get in a few days. So you could welcome these guests. They're here on Tuesday to Thursday. They're 4 nice, happy people. They've just come to see the sights, and you come in on the Thursday morning once they check out and the place is a bomb site. So I have had instances when I've walked into a property and it has looked like a scene from The Hangover.
There is a tiger in the bathroom!
So leading on from that, let's talk about cleaners. So it really is important that you have someone to clean your property for you. So back when I started, I used to clean them all myself, and you think, no, I'm saving some money, this is a good idea, when really it's not. You're wasting your time, on average about 2 hours per property to clean it, and that 2 hours could be much better spent running the business instead. So it is definitely the right thing to do to employ cleaners or to use some sort of cleaning firm, but it brings its own problems along with that then. So every cleaner comes in at the start and will start doing this and saying, oh, your current cleaner isn't that good. Everyone's great at the start, but after a while, standards do start to slip. So it's really important that whoever you have cleaning, that their work is checked before guests arrive, because it's really important that if something's missed, that it's caught by a separate set of eyes before people arrive. Bad guests will slip through the net. So one thing that's different with a serviced apartment to a hotel is that a hotel has a reception and security, so it can see everyone who's coming in and out of the building. With a serviced apartment, you're basically handing over keys to someone and there's no one there to check what's happening in the property once you leave or once they've got the keys out of the key safe. Unscrupulous people tend to navigate towards serviced apartments more than hotels. It's really important that you have vetting procedures in place to try and stop this. So there's things like you can ask for people's IDs, you can ask to see the front of the credit card that they've used to book with, have a minimum age limit, all these things to try and protect your property and to stop people coming in who aren't going to look after it properly. It's certain that bad guests will slip through the net. It generally falls into 3 categories. There's partiers, people just here just to have an absolute mad one. No doubt if they book for 4, they're bringing a lot more of their friends there as well. You can get prostitutes who travel around, and obviously you really don't want that in your property, not least for your cleaners or your neighbours, but the reputation of you as a property owner either. And the third one is people booking using stolen credit cards. This is a real problem that can occur when someone books and pays for your stay often quite last minute. You let them in, everything seems fine, and then a few months later you get a notification that the card has actually been stolen and a chargeback is initiated, and the bank takes back that money that they used to pay for their stay. So it's really important that you try and protect yourself as much as possible, but also know that no matter what you do, some people will eventually slip through the net. So it's just about being aware of that. So the next point is, you now run a hotel. So there's a lot of talk in property about how serviced accommodation is the big cash cow, the best property investment strategy. It's not passive income. There is serious amounts of work involved. When guests arrive, that's not just the end of the story and you say, right, they're in and they've paid, so we're done here. No, when they're in, it's when the work starts. So if they need a taxi, they're going to phone you. If they want to know what the best restaurant is, they're going to phone you. You will be tortured by all sorts of things by guests when they're here, and you have to respond appropriately and with good customer service, otherwise they'll just leave you a bad review after that. So you run a hotel and you do every job. Your security, your front of house, you're the cleaner. It can be really, really tough, really time consuming, trying to manage guests and manage their expectations and ensure they have a good stay. So the next point is reviews. So reviews, in my opinion, are vitally important in this industry. Before anyone books, they're presented with the review score of your property, and it really feeds into how desirable your property is to potential guests and ultimately what you can charge those guests to come and stay. I've actually done a full video on how to get perfect reviews, so if you like that, you can go and check that video out. So lastly, it can be so rewarding. So the best part for me, for this business, is actually meeting the guests, finding out a little bit about them, seeing what they're up to and what their plans are for the city that they're in. People who rent serviced accommodation tend to always rent serviced accommodation, and generally over the world, all serviced accommodation looks quite similar, quite bland and grey and clean. So if you can offer something a bit different, like this, or we offer chalkboard walls and all these little extra touches that we try and offer our guests to have a much better time or just a more enjoyable experience in the apartment. It's great to get feedback from them on that and to hear the wows and, you know, oh, this was brilliant and this was really good. So it can be really, really rewarding, but it is a lot of hard work too. So thanks very much for watching this video. I hope it didn't scare you off. As I say, it can be very challenging, but it can be very rewarding as well. I hope you like it. If you did, please give it a like. If there's any other things that you think people who are starting out in serviced accommodation should know, please leave a comment. Yeah, that's it.